Okay. Hello, this is Will and Sam. Sam's
Hi.
joining me for episode 5 of Will's interviews. And today we have a very special person. It's Joe Stachler from TM Books and Video.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
No problem, Joe. So I have my questions right here. See?
Oh, that's a lot of questions. All right.
Yeah, but I promise you they'll be good. So the first one is, what was your first Lionel train that you received?
I guess there's two ways to answer that. I was born in 1969. My father had some trains from when he was a kid, and he set those up for me to play with. And that was a 2026 steamer. It had a 6026 tender. It's not the right tender, but what difference does it make? I
Yeah.
remember specifically having the blue giraffe car. All the cars were the smaller 027 type. None of them were like the bigger, like 64 types yet back then.
Cool.
Accessory wise, I had 154 flashing signal, 152 gate, 317 trestle bridge, 314 girder bridge, and that pretty much rounded out the entirety of the collection.
That's
The
pretty
first
cool.
train I was given to be mine was in 1975 or 76 Christmas. My grandfather picked up a used uh, 212 Santa Fe Alco passenger set.
Yep.
It was made in 66. And that was a game changer for me. That was the first train I had that was sort of a modern looking, so to speak, diesel with a dummy. And I was used to seeing like multiple units. So that was neat to have.
Yeah,
And also
pretty cool.
passenger set. That was my first passenger
Hmm.
car. So
Yeah,
that was a big deal.
pretty cool. So Sam is going to read the even numbered questions, and I'm going to read the odd numbered
Okay,
All
questions.
so
right.
next question is what was your decision to join TM Books?
I had first heard of Tom McComas and Jim Toohey probably around 1982, 83. One of my uncles gave me the book on, I guess you'd call it modern era. It was technically named 1970 to 1980, part of the Collector's Guide in History series books that Tom and Jim had written. And I
Mhm.
thought that was a great book, as great as having a catalog because of all the information about the various trains and all the great pictures of everything in it. So that's when I first heard of him. Um, I would occasionally see him at the Wheaton Fairgrounds train show and would talk to him a little bit here and there. But then when I went to college, I went to Columbia College Chicago. It's a film
Hmm.
school. That was what my career path was. And I had done some freelance jobs, music videos, feature films around Chicago. They were all limited budgeted productions. They were great experience. They were fun to do, but I was kind of interested in getting something with a little sturdier uh, work, like a full time job. So I had just written a letter to him in 1995 because I had remembered, uh, certainly his company, and I wasn't sure uh, what they were up to at the time. Were they still producing new things? I had seen the Great Toy Train Layouts of America video series, um, and I don't remember if I was aware of I Love Toy Trains yet. But in any case, I wrote him a letter, and I think I got hired like 2 or 3 weeks later. I basically had said to him, I had this experience, but I also, as part of the hobby, had trains. There's this kind of a recurring theme among a lot of guys where you're into the trains as a kid, maybe up through junior high, freshman year of high school, and then you put them away for a while in your later years of high school and college and so forth. And that's what I did too. And I always sort of had them up in my upper shelf of my closet so that if I was getting something out of there, I would see them. And I just thought, that might be an interesting job. So
Yeah.
that's why I had reached out to him, and it turned out to be a really good fit.
Yes, certainly was. So, what was the first TM program that you remember working on when you first joined?
When I got there, that was the fall of 1995. They had already made the I Love Cat Machines videos 1 and 2. They were already made, but they had some changes that they wanted to make to them. So that's kind of the first thing I worked on.
Was it
Right
like some of the
before.
voice recordings, I think?
I don't remember what it was. Just some editing, changing some things. Back then, it was a real complicated process to produce a video. You certainly shot everything and you edited up to a point in house, but then you had to do what was known as online editing, and we would take it to a place in Chicago to do that. And our online editor was Chris Scruns, a name that you'd see on a lot of productions in the
Yep.
credits,
Yes.
up to about almost the turn of the century. I don't remember what year,
I
98.
think it was like 97 when you first started online editing.
Okay.
It was thing was Isle of Floor Trains Part 4.
Okay. So in any case, I had to do it. They had already done the online edit. The thing was pretty close to being finished, but he had a list of changes he needed made. So that was the first thing that I worked on. But the first
Cool.
video, certainly the first train video and the first video that I had worked on from almost start to finish, I would say not quite start because a lot of the video was shot that was used. It was Toy Train Review 12.
Yes, when you talked about the 262 crossing signal and how to modify
Yes,
it and stuff.
yes, yes.
Very good
Right.
segment.
That's what I brought with me when I got hired on at TM. Tom, uh, what he brought was he knows a lot about collecting. I knew more about operating, and so between the two of us, we complement each other on various stories and the approach to how to do it,
Yeah.
how to tell a story or an interesting story about a product or whatever.
You were also credited in the I Love Christmas video series as a videographer, so probably that was during that time.
Yeah, then we shot that was in fact, I remember on the letter he sent me, that was one of the first productions he wanted me to work on. I think it got delayed a little bit. He had an interesting idea about it. It was sort of to be like an I Love Toy Trains, but it was about Christmas. It would include trains, but it was an interesting idea. And think, boy, I think maybe we came out with two different versions of that. There was the
Yeah,
earlier
yeah,
version,
yeah, you did
and then a later one has a lot more trains in it, I want to
in
say.
98
Okay.
when you were in actually
Well, slash 97.
well, yeah. Anyway, okay, next question, Sam.
Okay, next question is what were your favorite TM videos to work on?
That's pretty easy. I think one that I worked on practically by myself was Toy Train Accessories, 1 and 2. I love doing
Yep.
both of them. It was painstaking because I went through, had the list of just about everything that was made, and everything was categorized, and came up with the cover, and it was just, if it worked right, then there was no problem. But sometimes things had a tendency to need a lot of coaxing to work
Such as
perfectly
the
with everything.
397, such as the 397 diesel coal loader.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember the coal 497. I remember also was giving me problems. I think one time I had the dump car on backwards, and I had the car dump the coal on the wrong side.
Mm.
I might have made it in a blooper video for I Love Toy Trains later on, but that's one of my favorites.
That's
I
one of
think
our
also,
favorites too, actually. We like
oh,
to watch
okay,
those two volumes.
good, good.
Yeah,
Century
pretty
of
cool.
Lionel
Yep.
was another one, because when we had talked with Lionel about doing it. We had entered into an agreement to do it, and Tom and I were talking about how to do it. And it was just going to be like what you saw, pretty thorough.
Yep.
with Tom
Especially when
Snyder,
it came to
with
trains.
Tom
Yes,
Snyder and Richard Koo.
yes. I mean, obviously, getting Tom Snyder was a huge get. He was a good friend. Um, he was a good friend to Tom, and he became one to me as well. And a really nice guy and fun to work with.
Mhm.
We shot that at his place in Los Angeles at the time. So that would have been 1999, 2000 ish when we did
Yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. So the fourth question is, I mean, sorry, Sam, fifth question.
The fifth question is, do you know of any TM videos that you wish you would have done better?
Is there something that I wish we did that we'd never ended up doing?
Yeah.
I guess the closest thing might be there, we were doing the celebrity layout series, and we were talking to trying to get Neil Young to be the fourth video there, and it never panned out. That would have been nice to do.
Yeah, that would have
I
been.
don't know. I don't remember how much of his collection uh, he sold or whatever, but if nothing else, it would have been great to document that, not just for fans to see, because he's one of us. Uh,
Yep.
Loves the
Mm-hmm.
trains, loves operating and collecting and all that stuff, and but it would have been a nice memento for him. Now, for all I know, I mean, with his connections in entertainment, he probably, I would hope, had it, taped and stuff. But from what I heard, some days he thought it was a great idea, some days he just wasn't into it, and the final decision was basically no. It just never worked out. So I
Mm.
guess that'd be the closest thing.
Yeah. Kind of off topic, but we would like to show some of our TM tapes that we have in our collection after we do this, after we do the questions. That's
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So next is, if you had to pick a TM video that stands out from the rest, which would it be and why?
Hmm. Maybe Century of Lionel, just because it was pretty thorough, and it wasn't just the obvious things. I mean, we talked about uh, the development of the company through its products. It covered everything: tin plate, pre-war, double O,
Yep.
post-war development of things like smoke, magnet traction, HO, changes in ownership. It's
Hmm.
as about as thorough as it gets. It not quite perfect, because some of the train sets we showed were basically accurate, but if we didn't have like the exact right variation of a car, that's just the way it goes. We put in like something kind of similar, but other than that, that's one that I think definitely was a big achievement.
Yes, definitely was.
Mm-hmm. So the next question is, since you left TM, have you gotten any new trains?
That's an interesting question. I'm trying to remember if I have necessarily bought anything. I bought a red caboose GP9 or 7. I don't remember which it is. And the reason I got it is because I just like the fact that it had fixed pilots. It's high, it's like not
High
quite
rail
three.
scale, three rail scale.
It's not quite that, because the
Oh,
couplers it came with were the big boxy ones for toy trains. I could
ah,
change them out to being scale couplers, and that would be three rail scale, but
scale
it's
KD couplers.
something like that. Yeah, I have older die cast O scale couplers if I wanted to use for that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I did. It was a project that I had in a basket for like 20 something years. Had made this as best as I could, a 703 Hudson. That was, they talked about making it in 1946. Had they made it, I have no doubt it would have been, the most um, valuable steam locomotive made in the post-war
Post-war
era.
era. And
Um,
you did feature that Hudson in the O gauge the You Can Do It Part 4 series, which I
Yes,
don't
that's
have
after
on
I left.
DVD. Yeah, which I
Yeah.
don't have on DVD yet, but I'm getting for Christmas. So it'll be a
Okay.
fun watch.
Yeah, well, I hope you like that. It's interesting. The approach that I had to it was to be as accurate as possible. There's a lot of original 1946 parts on that particular locomotive. But I would say also that segment that I contributed to that video is actually after I left. So, I still kept in touch with Tom and everybody there well after throughout
Oh,
the 5 years since I've left.
interesting. Um, well, you already kind of answered this question, but you still have any trains from when you worked at TM?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of trains. It's funny because at the time when I went to apply or have the interview with Tom to get hired, I had taken some basic photographs of what I had at the time of trains. And part of the reason I did that was just an inventory. But I put in like a photo book and all that, and I showed it to him, and it was, you know, nice. I think I might have had 6 locomotives or something like that. I don't know how many cars and how many accessories, but it was modest but decent amount of trains. Now, since working for him, I mean, it really kind of exploded just because I was immersed in it. And there's some things that I have that Tom gave me. So I have all of that stuff.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so next question is, what was your best moment from working at TM?
Hmm. Best moment, like a single moment to think, like, oh boy, this is great. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, we had great times, he and I. We were good friends. He was a great boss, and he was a generous boss to me and the other employees. And he and I would go on um, trips and stuff. And oh, I don't know. Maybe when we showed the Century Lionel video, it was at the International New York Film Festival, and
2002,
so that
right?
was kind of cool. What's that?
2002, right?
I think so, something like that. It might have been one or
Yeah.
two. Yeah, it was two for sure, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So the next one is how trains basically changed your life.
Hmm. Well, I really like the Lionel trains. I like real railroads as well. So it's a hobby. Hobbies are a good thing because, especially if you can make a living at it, that's a nice blessing.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, it gave me a living for 24 years, but also, some fun experiences, not just while I worked for Tom and getting the opportunity to do like various things and travel to various places in the country. Um, but I go to the Illinois Railway Museum to see the action there, or have visited some of the more local museums around here, like the New York Central Museum in Elkhart, and
Yep.
so Railroad Museum in North Judson, Indiana. Um, so and I'm in the Chicago, Northwest Indiana area, and that is, there's railroads all over the place here. And
Like
of course, when I was a
Metra,
little kid, there were a
Amtrak,
lot more.
Metra, Amtrak, you
Sure.
name it.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, there was, I mean, all kinds of road names all over the place before. Now we're down to what, 6 or 7 Class 1 railroads, and back then I remember Penn Central, and I remember when Conrail came along, and I remember Santa Fe and Burlington Northern, and everybody's like merged now. But
Yep.
it's still an industry that I really like to follow, just because of it. I just like looking at them, listening to them. I like what they contribute to the American economy,
That's what
and
Will.
what
That's
they
what
did to
Will
build the
usually like.
country.
Oh, that's what Will usually likes to listen to with the MTH products.
And
Mhm.
QSI and all that good stuff. By the
Mhm.
way, we're actually from Massachusetts, so
Oh yeah.
we know the MBTA and the Cape Cod area specifically. So
Yeah. Yeah, a
Yeah.
friend of mine is up in that area, grew up in that area. He's there now and he's big into the railroads. His favorite's probably still Boston and Maine, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, what? Sorry, what was your favorite layout to visit while at TM?
Um, Boy, there's, sometimes you might think, oh gosh, the biggest layout in the world is my favorite or whatever. One of my favorites belonged to Jim Flynn when he lived in Addison, Illinois. It was a T-rail layout, and he's one of those collectors. Collecting is a little more diluted now than it used to be. Probably it was the tail end of this type of collecting back then, where you had, if to collect something usually meant you wanted it in original condition. It could not just be the box, but like the original wiring and all that stuff. And then he was that type of collector and had a really nice collection of pre-war stuff. And so it was fun to watch things like a scale Hudson with the scale freight cars run on a T-rail layout with tin plate buildings. It
Yeah.
was so that's one of my favorites. I used to like going. I didn't live far from him, so I used to like going to his place to run stuff there. I don't remember his first name. His last name was Ermshire. He
Bob
had a
Ermshire
big, could be. He was in, I think,
from World
Southern.
Class High Rail Layouts Part 2.
So he had a like a perimeter layout built on various levels around the outer. So in the middle was wide open, and what was great about that was it was easier to set up lights and the camera and to point things, but it was just beautiful to shoot too. I mean, you couldn't go wrong whichever direction you pointed the camera. Um, I remember Fritz von Tagen had a pre-war tin plate layout that I thought was spectacular, just because it was pure. And you guys are gonna have to help me out with this other name. I'm not gonna remember it at all. Nice, big. It was standard gauge. He was originally in Great Toy Tournaments of America, and then he was also in, I want to say, I think we called that series Tin Plate Legends or something like that.
In action. Uh,
Well, his was nice too, whoever he was.
No way.
Chuck Brasher.
No,
I
that's
think?
Lionel Nation.
No, wait, he wasn't in Little Engine Action as well.
Was it Chuck Brasher?
That rings a bell. I don't remember. I don't remember it being Chuck, but maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe it was. But what layouts did you actually wish to visit? Like, did you have any layouts that you never went to?
No, I don't think so that I can think of. I can tell you what's kind of surreal is to have, say, shot um, Tom Snyder's standard gauge layout when it was in
Mm-hmm.
his house in Tiburon, California, which is like the Bay Area. And
Yeah.
then that layout was acquired by the New Jersey High Railers
Yep.
3,000 miles away. And I shot it there as well.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of amazing. And then also the visitor center layout that was in the Detroit area at Lionel's headquarters.
Yep.
That's somewhere in New York or New Jersey, I believe, and I saw it and shot it there as well. I think that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
to see, like, not small layouts either. They were a big deal
Really,
to
really big.
pick up and move, ship out
Yep.
to the area.
And they were
I
able
should
to do
say
it.
also, some of the other impressive layouts I've seen were built by some of the people who do it for a living, layout builders, and
Mm-hmm.
TW Design, Roger Farkash. We went to
Yep.
quite a few layouts that he had built around the country. He's in Texas. I used to love going to visit his studio down there in the Dallas area. And then there were these brothers that built layouts on the West Coast.
Uh, I wait.
Al Henry,
Mm,
maybe. What were there? I think something.
oh, Dan and Armando Vargas.
Yeah, that's them. That's them. Great, talented guys. Boy, did they make some interesting layouts that we
Yes,
saw.
they did.
Some big houses. Again, another example of, like, you can't go wrong wherever you point the camera. So any of those builders, they really did some amazing work. And getting to
Yes.
know them was one of the ways that we could find different layouts, because well, we just built one over here or one over here that you could check out and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
yep.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so what is your favorite Lyle accessory and what is your least favorite?
My favorite of the originals, I would have to say I love bridges, so I love the Bascule Bridge, 313 Bascule Bridge, the original one. The one I have is the gray version from 1941, 42, depending on how you look at it. I also love the tin plate lift bridge that they made back in 2002 or whenever it was. And
Seeing and
so,
building an O-gauge layout,
yeah,
which
those
is one of our favorite programs as well.
so the both of those operating bridges, I just think are cool, I would say. But I love, there's the big four, and 313 is one of them. 165 magnetic
Log
crane.
loader, well, magnet, sorry.
Yep, the magnetic
164
crane.
log loader.
Yeah, the 164 log loader is another of the big four, and so is the 97 coal elevator.
Yep.
Those four are like the big time, you know, conventional wisdom says the best accessory is Lionel ever made.
Yes.
As far as ones that I don't like, that's a good question. I know there was some stuff that I had seen. I said, well, I would never put that on my layout.
Well, one of them I think was the 375 turntable, because you
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice idea. Tough to implement, obviously, because a real turntable is going to have like a little bit of underground ness to it. Like Atlas did a phenomenal job, right, with their turntable. What Lionel was trying to do was tough, and
Yeah.
they knew it, and I don't think wanted to invest any more than they had to in it. So, I'm
Yeah.
not knocking it necessarily, but if you have it and you love it on your layout, great. It's I don't know, it from
Yeah.
top to bottom, that's a tough one.
Yeah. So did you help design the the 97 TM logo, the one with the wings, the circle?
No, I had nothing to do with that. I want to say probably Danny Lane uh did that. Now Danny Lane was Jack Lane's wife. Jack sadly passed away not too long ago either. They were great friends, Tom and Jack, and Jack did a lot of the photography for those early collectors books. And Danny was a graphic designer, and I want to say Tom just had an idea that he wanted to have a wing logo, and I think went to her with that, something that kind of like looked like what he was seeing, especially from the Art Deco pre-war era of logos. So
Yeah. Makes sense.
now what I did do with it was I did the animation, so it kind of came together and all that business at the beginning of our videos, but that's not the same as
Don't
designing.
forget the Alps Tour Trains one where it goes the 97 re-edits of Alps Tour Trains where it jumps up and down and part four falls down.
Oh yeah. Was that with an early version of that had like gunfire or something? I want to say
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Okay.
And
We
then you changed it because it
Yeah,
probably
that's that's Tom's sense of humor. And so but like his wife, Charles, was like, you really shouldn't do that. So then future versions of that we
they
took it out.
changed it. Okay. And the last question. What do you think the future of the toy train hobby is?
Well, I think that a lot depends. I know that there's always going to be kids and they're always going to love trains. They
Well,
they're pretty
like
expensive.
us.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty expensive. It could be that prices, and I don't want to use the word quality, but let's just say investment in, some of the products may change. I mean, obviously we've seen how electronics have revolutionized the hobby in this century. Uh, and right up to like being able to control trains with smartphones and stuff like that, which is
Yep.
really cool. But it can get expensive, and that's an investment. And a parent probably wants to be absolutely sure their kid will play with it before they they drop that kind of money on something. You know what? In a lot of ways, it's a buyer's market depending on what you're talking about. And I would say to say a parent who is like, well, what should I buy? Okay, buy a brand new Lionel train, fine. If you can't afford it, look at the secondhand market for things that you can piece together and make your own train set with.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, nothing wrong with any approach as long as Junior it gets to have that train for Christmas.
Yes, that's well said, Joe. So now we can look for some of the TM tapes to show you. Sam,
So
if you want.
first you can show it down.
Well, yeah. First, I have a '97 and a '98 TM catalogs. I have these two.
Oh wow.
Yeah, got them from eBay in 2022, and pretty cool to look at, I'd say.
Another sign of Tom's generosity was it was his idea to put my name on the front of those videos, Macoma Stachler production. That
Oh
was
yeah.
all Tom's idea. So,
Sometimes can have errors where once it says a Macoma Stachler Productions with an S, but
oh really?
yeah,
Probably one.
there was one, but Will is getting out some TM tapes that he wants to show you, so we'll be a little bit. Well, I'm gonna get some.
Well, I got these three. Well, so far. Well, you can keep looking. So the first one I have is, you may remember this, Atlas
Yeah.
O, 21st Century Track System.
Yep. That was an interesting video to work with. They came to us to do that. Sent us a lot of product. I built that layout. It was basically 8x16 layout. I don't remember. I think it was three separate loops for what it's worth. Well, the middle one was like some sort of figure eight, and then the outer two.
And you were featured in it as well.
Well, it is a cool track. So when that came out, that was kind of a really big deal because before that, I mean, solid rail track for O gauge. I mean, there was T rail, and then everything else was some form or another of tubular. Even Super O, it's tubular without being a tube, but it was the same idea of like forming a rail out of steel.
So the next one is the Gray Montana Train, but this is the original version, Rails to Paradise.
I worked a little bit on that. I don't remember who helped us with that.
I believe it was Ann Cummins.
Oh, okay. Sure. She was there when I first started working at TM. Tom and Charles, and they took one of his photographer friends with them on that trip to shoot all that. So it was it was a big deal. I don't know how long they were gone for. It was before I started working for them, and then they came back and they had all this footage, and I don't remember what I necessarily did with that show, but it was a good video to do because it was more than just the usual toy trains or big machines or stuff for kids
Whatever.
to do. Yeah, it was a little bit of a and that I think Charles was a major force behind that. I'm pretty sure that she's at least got a co-producer credit on that.
Yeah, and you actually credited as additional videography on it. So,
I wonder where I picked that up because I didn't go to Montana.
yeah, yeah,
What? Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
whatever. But this is Century Blind now. But as you notice, this is a festival version,
Yeah,
shorter.
so it's cut it down. It's cut down to about an hour. I think what happened there was a shorter version that was cut down also for use on TV. I want to say the full version may have been shown. I don't remember for sure on PBS, but then other like small outlets had wanted to show it, but they didn't want like a 2 hour version. So that's what we created, and I think it was submitted to festivals as well. It was meant to be something that was maybe for not necessarily the diehard Lionel fan who had to, hear about every little
Thing that
year
happened.
change and all that stuff. This was more of a not watered down, but obviously lesser amount of the story being told.
Yeah, pretty cool. Well, we're still gonna look for more stuff, so they're right there. But one thing that I found was the Isle of Toy Trains 90 minutes, but it has
Oh
the
yeah,
Blockbuster sticker right there.
yeah,
Wasn't
that
there
was a partnership. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the deal was with that, but it
the
was a big
try
deal
it
at
then
the time.
buy it
Hmm.
program?
So I guess they rented it. They had it to rent there, and then I know they had a section to buy videos. But it's so funny because all these videos that you guys have been showing me so far is VHS, which was a really slow and tedious phase of production because, for one thing, VHS tapes to be duplicated was real time. And that means you had a master playing at regular speed and however many tape machines recording it at the same time. That's how
Mhm.
the duplicators had to do it. And they must have had, I mean, I'd been there, rows and rows of decks there working. I don't remember how many they could do at a time, but oh, my goodness. And then, of course, DVDs came out, and then all of a sudden it's just a matter of spinning a disc and burning it, which would take a fraction of the time and have better quality. I mean, everything about it was better than working on VHS. One of the worst things to do with VHS was we would cut our promos for the various videos to show at places like York, the TCA convention at York, or whatever event, convention, so forth. And might, if we're lucky, put together between 5 and 10 minutes of promos, one after the other. And so you would just have to record, duplicate it 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and then cue it up and then play it again to record the next 5 to 10 minutes to fill up a tape that was basically 2 hours. So those were tedious times.
Like the Isle of Toy Trains demo tape that we have.
That one might be before my time. I know I had seen that he had done some sort of media samplers or so forth, maybe distributed to potential hobby stores as buyers or whatever, what have you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I like the at the end of Isle of Toy Trains videos you say like thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the show. I love Toy Trains, been one of the most popular children's series in the country. Like what caused you to like do that?
That was Tom. It was popular. There's no doubt about that. How popular compared to like a Disney movie, I don't know, but it held its own for sure. And we were always careful to say at the end to not mess around with real trains, go near the tracks, or we always had safety messages in mind as well.
Yeah, like the I love cat machines ones.
That too. Yep, exactly
From
the same idea.
2001 and stuff. Well, I think Will's gonna show more of the tapes, so you can keep showing. You can get some notes in. Okay, I have another's show. First one, Ball Train Layouts by Clark Dunham.
Yep. He's another one of the custom layout builders, one of the best. He had a sense of, I mean, he was a Broadway set designer.
Yep.
He got it from the floor to the ceiling. Incredibly impressive and not meant to be, depending on what level you were looking at, not necessarily realistic, but it's meant to take you away somewhere, especially with those cloud designs and the backdrops of New York City. I loved how he did the stepped force perspective. At the top level he had HO, the middle level was S gauge, and the bottom level was O gauge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I went to his place out there in upstate New York a few times to shoot stuff. The
Yeah.
layout
Like
at
the
Stachler,
station at like the
yeah,
station at City Corp.
So what I did there was I stayed at their place and they had it at their studio. It was set to run automatically and it was huge. And I would shoot it at night because he had a lot of skylights and big windows. And I didn't really want the sun interfering. I wanted to set my own lights and not mix tungsten and daylight. And so it was just tungsten. And that's how that was shot. Basically, after the sun went down for a few hours each night, where I would, get section by section until I had the whole thing. I must have shot like 10 30-minute tapes of that layout.
And here's the tape.
Yes.
There it
Yep.
is.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Pretty cool. Okay, so I have a couple more. Speaking about Christmas, here it is.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
This is a 97 version because
That's the
actually
original.
has footage
Yeah.
from Toy Trains and Christmas parts 1 and 2. So you probably decided to re-edit it before the finalized version came out in 98.
That's good. I mean, number one, when we would do things when we were moving on to DVD, that gave us an opportunity to make changes as Tom wanted to. Because before we would do it, he would always review the show and take notes on maybe what to change or improve or take a
Yeah.
different tack.
It's true. Sure. We have Baby Loves Trains, and you were credited as the uh, director for this tape.
Yeah, that was at the time there was this series called Baby Einstein, which were extraordinarily popular, and
And
I had friends.
we're actually fans of that show. So
Okay,
this kind of came about because of that. But and we like this though because it's PM and stuff. But
yeah, friends of mine had a little kid that they would have watch that, and so I'm looking at wondering how it could be done with toy trains, and that's
and
basically
that's
how
how
that.
it came about.
Mhm.
Pretty cool. Um, Great MPH layouts.
Yeah,
That was a pretty cool series, like Tony Lash, Rashard
were good.
Johnson, Mike
Yeah.
Wolf, John Shankland,
John
and
Shanklin had a really nice layout in somewhere in Illinois. What was
Steve
interesting about
Scholl.
that was he had an operating block system, computerized, and it was funny because a lot of times when I'm shooting a layout, especially a big one, you get a shot. Okay, it could have been better. Can we back the train up and do it again? And with that system he had, you couldn't back the train up. Like you really couldn't back a real train up. So we had to wait for it to go all the way around the layout again to cue it back up to that point.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Tony Lash too. I don't know, 2 3 days in the Baltimore area to shoot that, and
Yeah.
very impressive. And he was a fun guy to know.
We have Lionel 00 and HO action.
Now that
Pretty cool.
was what happened. There was we had done the Century Lionel video and had a double O Lionel double O layout and a Lionel HO layout. And I said to Tom, we've got this footage, we've got these layouts, we could put this out. I don't know, it's only about like 30 to 40 minutes just to have another product to offer at the next York. It didn't take long to do. It was fun to do because most of the stuff you see in that, well, a lot of it, certainly a lot of the HO stuff happens to be in my own collection. And
Well, we can't forget the error that you put the daylight cars in the wrong order from
did
the
I,
yeah.
was it
You said it in the video.
really?
The HO daylight.
So was
It
it the
should be
daylight
right.
or the
The
blip?
free. Oh, sorry, the Freedom Train. Never mind.
Yeah,
Freedom
yeah,
Train.
yeah. Well, I don't remember which cars they had. They didn't have all of them. I don't remember what order they were supposed to go in. Probably the order. I think there was supposed to be a story of the history of the United States or something. I probably got like this before the
Probably
revolution.
got probably got confused about that. Okay, so here's the great train story
Oh yeah.
at the Museum of Science and Industry.
Now, all my life, I had been going to, it's my favorite museum, the Museum of Science and Industry. They had a really I loved it. O scale um, layout in that area there that
Yeah.
was partially supported by Santa Fe Railroad. And then at some point they decided they wanted to redo the whole thing. That layout, the O scale one, hung in there until sometime in the 90s, I want to say. Um, and so I went to the museum as I often did, and I talked to people here and there and finally worked my way to the people to talk to about making a video about that layout. And it's a tremendous layout. And
Mhm.
after
I was
watching it,
thinking of the person that you were that was in the commentary of that DVD. What's his
I
name?
don't remember his name, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
want
remember
to
his.
say we were able to put together some external stuff, bonus material for the DVD that included him on camera as one of the main um, designers of at least getting this new layout built off
Yeah.
site and then brought there. It's
Mm-hmm.
really and
Really a
plus
cool thing.
a business decision because it's a major attraction in Chicago and it's HO, which is a more popular scale of toy trains,
Mm-hmm.
model trains
Yeah.
than Gauge, which we were more known for.
Mm-hmm. So next up is actually, you may not remember this program, but Yoga Kids.
No, I remember that. That again, that came up right about the time I was started working there. I didn't have anything really to do with it. I don't remember shooting anything. I mean, my name might be in it.
It
I
it
want to say
is. It is in
okay.
it. Because it said
Oh,
also animation.
oh,
Animation. So you probably did some animations at that point.
hmm. uh, Tom's wife Charles was a major force in getting that produced, and I know
Yeah.
that Tom's son, Tom McComas Jr., uh, may have been one of the main videographers of it at the
Yeah.
time.
Yes. And then the person who was before you, Don Varda, you
Mhm.
remember him?
I don't remember if I've ever met him. I know the name. I know he was in, I think, the LaPorte area. There was another guy, his name was John something or other, who was between Don and me. Don and I did not overlap as far as our time at TM is concerned, but I was certainly aware of him.
That's cool. Uh, so next is Lionel Ray to run train set instruction video.
Yes. So John Brady was head of, it may have been marketing, oversaw a lot of stuff there, product development too. Fast Track was like a big deal when they were
Yes.
coming up with it. And as it happened, I was up at Lionel when they were in the Detroit area for something. And we were always telling them, you know, if you've got a video that you need produced that we can help you with, let us know. And this this product was unveiled, and it was that the VHS version you had there.
Yeah.
It's
They're also
possible,
the DVD, which we have
yeah.
too.
It's possible that that VHS version then is going to show the original Fast Track when they had the black center rail before
Oh,
there.
that's probably why you updated it in 2004.
Yeah, we had to reshoot anything that showed like the black rail. Um,
Makes sense.
and you know, the quote unquote phantom rail, you know, 50% of the time it's it stands out even brighter or more obvious than the outer rail. So I think they wisely thought to themselves, who are we kidding here? And
Yeah.
got rid of that.
Um, okay, well, here is Toy Train Christmas Memories.
Yeah, that's along the lines of you know, one of the most popular and I think one of the most favorited of the Toy Train Christmas videos that Tom did was probably a Lionel Christmas, and that was produced just before I got there. But he struck gold with that one, and so the other ones they had their own
Mm-hmm.
versions of success, and the idea behind the Toy Train Christmas Memories was a lot like what a Lionel Christmas was. It was memories like of probably like the 50s and 60s of older people getting on trains at Christmas time or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Here is I Love Lion Now with a lion.
Yeah. So that's sort of like I Love Toy Trains, only it's all Lionel, and it's also a Lionel licensed product. It was made with kind of their well, what did they get out of it? Approval and so forth. Made, with their blessing, so to speak. And we used Lenny the Lion as a host, I guess you could say. And the voice we found for that was a guy that we thought kind of sounded like how a lion would sound as he's talking, almost like Tigger, well, that tiger for the cereal, whatever that is. I forgot his name. Tony the Tiger.
Okay, here is Toy Trains and Christmas, the first volume. Did
Yeah, that was
did,
popular.
did James Coffey actually debut in this video, or did he come to TM like earlier on?
I want to say his first video must have been I Love Toy Trains Part 4, is my hunch.
But this
It,
one was released in '96
like,
though.
yeah, it's like a photo finish whenever it was. If it wasn't that one right there in your hand, then it was I Love Toy Trains 4. But somewhere in that time, and he was a great contributor to the productions. It was fun. He had fun with the lyrics on a lot of those.
Mm-hmm. He even did music for like non TM programs, like lots and lots of trains stuff.
Well, he did that title song for Central Lionel. I mean, he was our go-to guy for fun music.
Music stuff. Here's the blooper video. Oh no.
I Yeah, my name's on there. I don't remember necessarily what I did. It's mostly mostly stuff that
Oh,
we had gotten over the
like
years
stock
shooting
footage.
layouts, but we may have staged a few things there too to fill up the time.
Well, the Buster segments in that video. Well, initially in part five, the Buster segments were voiced by you, but then
Yes,
Jeffrey re-recorded it.
yes. And that locomotive actually belonged to me. It was a Williams SD 40s 50 something. And funny thing about that is it's based on a real locomotive, and the real locomotive did have a crash somewhere. There was a picture I found of it somewhere where it was like laying on its side. So, art imitates
Yeah,
life.
yeah. Here is Lionel Legends, the to the Hudson from.
There again, that's one we wanted to be as thorough as possible with. And when we did the DVD version, we had updated it at least up to that point in the time it was produced. But we
This
had
was
fun,
released later on in
had a lot of
2005.
fun with that one. Again, included the Double O Hudsons, because those Double O Hudsons are nice little models, and for a lot of people like me, that's as close as I'll ever get to owning a pre-war Lionel
Mhm.
Hudson.
Here's ironically, the Outdoor Trains demo tape, which again would
Oh,
be a
okay.
duplication thing. That's why it's pretty long, as you can see.
Before my time, that one I couldn't answer for.
Oh, well, it's 97. Well, it's from '97, so
Oh,
maybe it's produced like right before, like, or
oh,
maybe
that's the
you didn't
darndest
have the
thing that
volume.
I'm with a sticker on it like that yeah. Oh, who knows? That's funny though.
Here's a pretty interesting one that I'm not sure you might have been involved with, but like, it's Alpha Train, except it's like a VHS tape from the UK because that has this E rating,
Oh,
and it's by DD Video.
yeah.
Actually,
I
I guess they
wonder.
probably produced it without your consent.
I don't know. That I would guarantee you that's before my time. And chances are, if that was in the UK, it's not NTSC, but possibly PAL. You'd have to look at
Yeah,
the
yes,
sticker.
this tape is in PAL format,
Yeah.
but for some reason they like remove like, well, wait, never. Um, Here's this one though you probably will remember. I love big trains.
Yes, I did a lot of the work on that one.
Probably went to like I thought he went to like some sort of trip in Europe to film.
Yes, that's true. I was in France and I was in Portugal on vacation, but I brought a camera with me and shot trains there. Um, Tom was in California, so I think he had gotten that footage of the daylight out there. I think that's in that video. And then I had talked with the Chicago area short line railroads, like the South Shore and the Beltway and the Harbor Belt, and they were great to work with. Um, and it was fun to do things like riding a caboose.
Yeah.
Here
That was for all the big trains too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all big
here
trains.
is here's Off Toy Trains in music video. Again, another one that stars James Coffey.
Yeah, it was good
Like
to produce that because everybody loved the songs, obviously, and so here was just the songs.
Then there was a second version, which is DVD only.
Uh,
And this was this re-edited in the DVD version of one?
Yes.
It was actually. I think it might have been like re-edited in for the first for this, but the DVD version. But yeah. And here's I Love Big Machines 2, which
I
stars
remember part one. I don't remember. Well, there's my name on it, but I don't remember what I did on that one.
with I. Oh yeah.
Well, now Count Machines tapes. This is the third one. It only says Macoma Stachler production, but you weren't even credited in that. Just Tom. So maybe just Tom did it himself or something.
I don't remember what we did, what I did per se. Just I probably did like the online editing for all I can remember.
Oh, and lastly, here's the updated version about Christmas.
Oh,
And it says on the back, jacket designed by you, because you made all the artwork.
Yeah, occasionally. The idea there was to make it look a little bit more like an I Love Toy Trains or an I Love TM video,
And then there's one more thing that we have to show before we wrap up. It's Great Show North America 1, but it says beta.
Yeah.
This was before your time, obviously.
Yeah.
But just thought it would be pretty interesting to show.
Absolutely. Beta was considered to be, I think, maybe slightly better quality than VHS.
But
and there was like a bunch of reasons why VHS took off instead of beta,
because people wanting to sacrifice quality for affordability.
Partly, yeah. VHS was cheaper, and I think you could store more video on a VHS tape if you slowed it down or something like that.
Like the different tape speeds, but
yeah, I don't remember if you could do that with beta. I don't think you could. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I think we better.
By the way, your contributions to TM were pretty good, Joe.
Thank you.
I like that you were. I think that I like your over like Tom because you helped edit stuff and you're a pretty good person.
Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, it was a great time. Tom and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a blessing to be able to do it, frankly.
Yeah.
And it was I miss Tom. And
yeah, we all do.
I was glad that I got to see him, I think 2 or 3 weeks before he had passed on. And we had spoken and visited many times before that as well. So
yeah,
Tom
will rest in peace and live on for future generations of people. Oh, and one more thing. One of my friends, Nick Borden, actually has the Lionel, what is it? The Commodore Vanderbilt that you actually helped design.
Oh, what's his name?
Nick, N-I-K, Nick Warden Entertainment.
Oh, yes. I saw that. Yes, that was the Commodore Vanderbilt, the real Commodore Vanderbilt was shrouded over the real 5344 New York Central Hudson. And obviously the 5344 New York Central Hudson is what Lionel had built in 1937, which revolutionized the way they, because it was now
Scale market.
pressurized, die cast, and affordability and mass market, all that stuff. It just was a game changer. And so what I wanted to do with that was make it look like that locomotive shroud over the Lionel 700E, basically scale
Yeah.
Hudson. So that's why that happened.
And it's pretty cool that he now owns it. So
yes. I made one for Tom and one for me. So I still have mine, obviously.
cool. Well, we're gonna wrap things up, but maybe we should talk to you again sometime. It was fun.
Okay, I had fun too. Thanks very
Yeah.
much, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
And
Okay,
bye.
take
Peace
care.
out.
Bye.